This is the story of two very different men.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Kalau saya nari, saya tidak perlu bawa alat gitu. Saya bawa badan saya aja gitu.
One is a self-styled creator of a fusion dance form, and the other an avid art collector and private curator.
Yeah.
Two men, poles apart, driven by the same all-encompassing passion to champion the arts of Indonesia at home and beyond. For art's sake. To experience Indonesia is to experience diversity. People, places, arts, culture, lifestyles. From shiny modernity to sprawling slums, Indonesia offers it all. Our story begins in one of capital Jakarta's many residential enclaves. People here aren't wealthy, but they're rich with community spirit and an appreciation of the simpler things of life. This is where dancer and choreographer Jeko Siompo lives. Jeko is the originator of a dance form called Animal Pop, something he enjoys teaching the less privileged kids who live here. Animal Pop marries traditional Indonesian dance and modern Western moves with rich animal motifs. But this is more than just fun and games. Animal Pop has taken Jeko Siompo around the world, a journey that began when he was growing up in his native Jayapura in Indonesia's Papua province. Papua culture has always placed great value on two things Jeko loves: music and dance.
Di Papua itu juga ada istilah-istilah yang saya juga dengar dari orang-orang tua kita yang tidak menyanyi mati, tidak menari mati. Nah, jadi sebenarnya mungkin menurut saya jadi sebenarnya menyanyi dan menari itu sudah seperti ya itu yang saya bilang tadi, sudah bagian dari kehidupan kita di sana begitu. Jadi kita nggak tahu musiknya seperti apa, tapi ketika kita berjalan rame-rame dari keluar rumah berburu atau memancing itu sudah seperti harus menyanyi, harus menari. Jadi sebenarnya itu sudah bagian, makanya ada istilah itu.
Jeko learned traditional Papua dance as a child, but thanks to television, he was also enthralled by the slick, energetic moves of James Brown and Michael Jackson.
Saya lihat juga kayak orang-orang breakdance itu yang patah-patah seperti Ken Swift, Mr. Wiggles, ya, mereka-mereka yang mereka robot-robot gitu. Nah, di situ sebenarnya di situ mulai tertarik situ. Jadi dengar lagu dikit pingin bergerak seperti mereka gitu. Dengar lagu dikit pingin bergerak. Terus saya pernah dimarahin waktu itu kan om-om saya di kampung. Itu orang punya tuh. Tarian orang kamu nggak bisa, kamu harus coba tarian kamu dulu gitu. Jadi sempat dimarah-marahin karena itu bahaya kata mereka. Kalau kita putar-putar kepala nanti bisa bahaya dan kamu nanti ke rumah sakit mahal apa segala macam. Jadi terus kita diam-diam kalau mau latihan diam-diam gitu, cobain kakinya, tangannya gitu. Jadi jangan sampai orang kampung itu tahu. Nah, kalau orang kampung itu tahu kita pura-pura lagi pura-pura tari-tari, tapi kalau orang-orang itunya mereka nggak ada, kita pura-pura lagi tak gitu. Jadi
after graduating high school in Papua, Jeko moved to Jakarta, nearly 4,000 kilometers away, to enroll in music school. But not being able to actually read music, he failed the admissions test. Undeterred, he came up with Plan B. He'd study dance instead.
Saya pikir mendingan saya tes nari aja, karena memang saya dari kecil suka nari dan suka nari. Kalau saya nari, saya tidak perlu bawa alat gitu. Saya bawa badan saya aja gitu. Nari saya campur-campur di situ, campur Michael Jackson, campur Papua, macam-macam di situ. baru pakai sepatu lagi gitu kan. So, waktu saya senang sekali bisa pakai sepatu gitu, karena waktu di Papua kan kita narinya kadang-kadang sepatunya terbatas gitu. Kalau di sini kan karena macam-macam tipe, jadi senang gitu, wah mau pakai sepatu ini, jadi bahagia bang waktu itu. Udah habis tes, pulang tiba-tiba berapa minggu kemudian, wah nama saya ada lah, keluar gitu, lulus gitu. Wah.
Jeko Siompo had taken his first steps towards becoming a professional dancer. Some 550 kilometers away, in the city of Yogyakarta, lives one of Indonesia's most respected art collectors.
Kurang lurus, ini naik. Ya. Ya. Coba.
A medical doctor by training, a tobacco grader by trade, Dr. Wee Hong Jian started collecting art in the 1960s.
When you keep buying, well, all wall space is full, I think maybe then you can call somebody a collector.
A successful tobacco business has given him the means to continue to accumulate an impressive and eclectic collection. Dr. Wee inherited the business when his father unexpectedly died, interrupting his studies overseas.
My father passed away suddenly because of heart attack. I have to come back, but actually it was planned that I will just liquidate or sell the business and come back to Holland to continue my study. After a year, I was still not able to sell the business. I didn't know when I can liquidate this business. Finally, I'm stuck.
He stuck it out with the business, which is today a huge enterprise his sons help run. This has freed up time for Dr. Wee to pursue his passion for art and bringing it to as many people as possible. As a child, Dr. Wee grew up with art. The family home was filled with it. But it was only after he had started working that he began buying his own pieces.
At the time, I just like art. That's all. I graduated, I started to have some money, I started buying something just to hang. Because you are here in Magelang, we're so close to Jogja, the center of the art. And as soon as the artist knew that you are buying art, they come to you offering art, because at the time it was not easy to sell art. And this situation made me very much involved in the art. I consider some Indonesian artists very good, but if they are not supported, they will remain unknown forever. And it is a shame actually for all of us, for our country.
But there was little, if any, public infrastructure in place that provided a space for artists to exhibit and the public to appreciate these works. So, after years of accumulating a huge collection of art for himself, Dr. Wee decided it was time to share some of his most prized pieces with the public.
At that time, the best works are in the hands of the collectors. And if those works are just enjoyed by the collectors alone, and the public cannot see it, cannot enjoy it, I think the Indonesian art will not be known by its own people.
In the late 1990s, the Wee Hong Jian, or OHD Museum, opened its doors. It featured modern Indonesian art by some of the finest artists in the country. And Dr. Wee Hong Jian went from avid art collector to impresario. When self-styled dancer and choreographer Jeko Siompo met Bang Bang Subekti, a government employee charged with fostering arts and culture in Jakarta, it was to be an important moment for the dancer.
Oh, sorry, Mas Jack.
Jeko and his animal pop dancers used to practice in the gardens outside Taman Ismail Marzuki, or TIM, an art and cultural center run by Bambang.
Saya kenal dengan Jeko ketika saya mulai diberikan tugas oleh pemerintah memegang pusat kesenian Jakarta gitu ya. Awalnya memang saya lihat anak-anak muda ini hanya berlatih di teras. Kadang-kadang gitu tidak diperhatikan oleh pengelola itu. Jadi seolah-olah hanya anak-anak yang berkeliaran, mereka numpang latihan gitu. Nah, saya melihat ini adalah potensi generasi muda yang perlu kita bangun. Daripada kalian itu pada duduk-duduk nggak jelas gitu kan, lebih baik kan kalau di sini ada prestasi.
Jeko Siompo now had a permanent space in which to groom his family of animal pop dancers and experiment with new choreography.
Saya punya dua sisi yang saya lakukan di tim ya. Ada yang pertama mengajar anime pop dance untuk anak-anak kecil ya, remaja dan mungkin juga yang tua-tua. Dan kedua saya juga ada salah satu yang lebih serius yaitu contemporary dance ya. Kedua-dua itu bisa berjalan seiring gitu. Misalnya anime pop bisa berjalan karena sudah Pak Bambang sendiri sudah menyediakan tempat, nanti kita bisa bereksperimen di mana-mana saja tempat itu. Tapi dalam waktu tertentu saya juga butuh sebuah tempat pertunjukan untuk ibarat seperti orang datang seperti menonton film. Dia butuh satu fokus untuk menonton dalam satu gedung dan mengamati seperti apakah yang terjadi di tim kalau kita latihan di luar sana. Sekaligus juga itu seperti kita mengajarkan mereka untuk seni pertunjukan, bagaimana sebuah tontonan pertunjukan tadi begitu. Untuk hal tertentu, saya juga butuh seperti orang menonton itu harus serius tanpa gangguan apapun. Karena kadang-kadang kalau kita di luar pertunjukan itu motor lewat, mobil lewat, kadang-kadang suka konsentrasi. Padahal kita mau mengungkapkan sesuatu yang penting, jadi tidak bisa dilihat karena fokusnya berubah. Tapi kalau di gunung, kadang-kadang saya butuh untuk membuat fokus itu lebih baik untuk menonton gitu. Ya tapi selebihnya menurut saya, untuk kayak sekali lagi saya kembalikan kayak misalnya tadi saya berekspresi di situ, di teras, di mana, itu untuk mengungkapkan semua imajinasi, kreativitas di sana dan makanya terima kasih sekali atas kepercayaan yang sudah diberikan kepada Anime Pop Family atau grup kita untuk mencoba mengeksplorasi gitu. Jelas positif ke depan terus berbuat gitu.
Melihat itu lalu saya berikan ruang-ruang itu dan ternyata prestasinya semakin hari kan semakin meningkat. Karena hanya bukan ruang latihan itu saja yang kita berikan tetapi juga ruang seperti gedung-gedung pertunjukan kita berikan kesempatan untuk mereka tampil ya. Karena tampil di atas panggung itu sangat berbeda ketika dia tampil di teras. Gitu. Mereka harus berhadapan dengan penonton, ya. Dia harus dengan kostum yang lebih baik dan segala macam, perencanaan yang lebih matang. Itu dilatih, perlu dilatih sehingga.
Art collector Dr. Ui Hongjin believes artists need not only a space to create, but the means to share their work with the public. Only then can both artist and art appreciation grow.
If you go along with the artist, you know them very well, their qualities, I think, then you will be inspired to do something. If you do only that for your own enjoyment, I think, yeah, it is rather selfish also, yeah. We as collectors in a developing countries like Indonesia has some responsibility to take care of this. If you as a private collector who has a collection considered as good enough, comprehensive, if you start to socialize or to publicize your collection, sharing your collection with the other people, this might be the start of a museums later. Because if you look in the developed countries, the very famous public museums now, like the MoMA or the National Gallery in Washington, they all started from private collections, which later became private museums. Of course, there are still a lot of deficiencies. But if you don't start, you come to nowhere and we will be left behind by the other developing countries.
Dr. Wee had long opened the doors to his home as a place for artists to display their works. But a growing art collection and shrinking wall space made it necessary to find an alternative space.
This is the first building I built as a private museum, finished in 1997, which at the time houses the modern and contemporary together. But now it is just for the modern, actually the historical part of the collection. At this time, we have an exhibition of Hidayat and his teacher, contemporaries, students, and the younger generation. But usually, we have an overview of the Indonesian art history here.
The name Widayat resonates in the Indonesian art world. Until his death in 2002, he was revered as one of Indonesia's great masters. Dr. Wee Hong Jin, one of Indonesia's most well-known art collectors and promoters, was a close friend of Widayat and his family.
Kalau ditanya tentang pada waktu kami di sini, waktu di Cendana, benar-benar saya hanya mengenal Pak Onjin dengan sangat senang sekali kalau seandainya Pak Onjin datang, karena beberapa hari kemudian pasti Bapak ngajak makan, karena pada waktu itu mesti lukisan laku gitu loh. Jadi ini yang sangat terkenang di saya itu seperti itu sebenarnya.
When Widayat's wife, who was instrumental in managing the artist's creations, passed away, the family turned to Dr. Wee for advice and guidance.
Pada waktu tahun 2000 ibu meninggal, kemudian ya tadi seperti saya katakan bahwa saya banyak bertanya dengan Pak Onjin, semuanya. Sampai harga lukisan pun saya sebenarnya pada Pak Onjin, karena memang nggak tahu. Jadi kami ini benar seperti anak ayam yang ketinggalan induknya. Kami hanya bisa teriak, nggak tahu apa-apa. Om Onjin lah yang memberitahukan semua. Sampai pada suatu saat beliau sendiri, Pak Onjin juga bilang bahwa aku masih punya utang sama ibu. Pada waktu itu ada beberapa yang belum dibayar. Saya sendiri juga, kalaupun nggak dibayar, saya juga nggak tahu Pak kalau ada utang. Seperti itu. Setelah, kalau seandainya pada waktu itu ibu meninggal dan kami tidak mengenal Dr. Onjin, mungkin museum kami juga nggak akan seperti sekarang ini. Karena kami benar-benar nggak tahu. Bapak sendiri juga nggak tahu.
Thanks to Dr. Wee, many of Widayat's works are available for all to admire through his own collection and the family's H. Widayat Museum.
Widayat, the famous pioneer of modern Indonesian art, he always want to learn also from his students, from the new development they make. Yeah? So I think learning, you can learn from everything, and we have to learn also from the younger generation.
So, to give Indonesia's younger contemporary artists greater visibility, Dr. Wee opened 2 more museums in 2006 and 2012.
This museum housed the contemporary part of my collection. This was finished in the beginning of 2006. And the works here are by living, mostly young artists, who is still very active. A lot of the Jogja artists, to whom I'm very close with.
Indonesian dancer and originator of the animal pop movement, readily credits the traditional dances of his native Papua culture and the modern choreography of James Brown and Michael Jackson as his early inspirations. But he's also had the guidance of a mentor, filmmaker, actor, dancer and choreographer Sardono Kusumo.
Pertama kali saya menonton pertunjukan itu waktu itu kalau tidak salah 1995 ya. Itu saya menonton pertunjukan yang namanya Opera Diponegoro. Ya, itu karya Sardono Kusumo ya. Jadi sebenarnya itu karya pertama yang menginspirasi saya. Gitu. Artinya saya tidak pernah berpikir kalau sebuah tarian itu seperti itu.
Sardono Kusumo founded Dance Theatre Sardono in the 1970s. He's an award-winning artist who combines classical Javanese and local dance forms with modern dance techniques. He has performed across Indonesia and abroad. It had long been Jeko Siompo's dream to study under Sardono.
Dan saya selalu berpikir, kapan saya kuliah sama Mas Don ya? Waktu itu. Wah, saya tanya-tanya tentang enggak, kamu harus semester berikutnya dulu baru ketemu Mas Don gitu.
Jeko finally got his chance. In 1997, he began learning under Sardono in Central Java on an exchange program sponsored by his school in Jakarta. Each of the students there was asked to perform a short piece. When it came to Jeko's turn, the young dancer did not initially inspire confidence.
There is one shy guy that he just doesn't want, at that time very shy, he doesn't want to show something. And then, please show me your movement. He said, no, I'm not really a dancer. They are court dancers, very beautiful, violinist. But I'm just doing something. No, please show me. And then he do kind of a hip hop thing. He can do, that kind of streets dancing movement. Very interesting. I said, wow, it's very surprising, I said. Later on, I become more and more understanding about the way he danced, the way he expressed. It's become more interesting. Then I understand Jeko is not just imitating the hip-hop style we found in the city, but actually through that kind of a way of expressing their body more freely.
Under Sardono's tutelage, Jeko Siompo grew as an artist, his raw talent fine-tuned.
Saya jadi penarinya Mas Don ya, itu kalau tidak salah, saya nggak tahu artinya, tapi saya melihat judul Nobody's Body. Itu menurut saya juga sangat berguna, artinya ya bagaimana saya harus mengeksplor diri saya dengan apa yang ada di luar saya. Itu menjadi kekuatan gitu ketika saya mengeksplor itu. Jadi saya banyak terinspirasi oleh Mas Don ya. Ketika saya melangkah berbuat sesuatu itu saya penuh percaya diri untuk melakukan itu karena saya banyak disiramin oleh Mas Don gitu. Apa yang saya lakukan rasanya ya positif ke depan untuk terus berbuat tentang apa yang berkaitan dengan tubuh gitu. Jadi
Traditionally, the master teaches the student, who in turn teaches younger students. Sardono sees in Jeko not just a talented dancer and choreographer, but a gifted teacher.
I think if we're talking about art, I believe with a lot of expression now in the young student, because they can communicate now with their generation all over the world, not only limited to the national boundaries. Jeko is one of that kind guy that can give a contribution a lot to make a more freedom expression to the young people.
Yogyakarta is a city of art. Its streets are rich with it. And more recently of museums. And one of the best here celebrates the works of the late Affandi, an esteemed Indonesian master artist and a great friend and inspiration to art collector Dr. Ooi Hong Jien.
You are not tired anymore?
No.
I am a very lucky collector because in the beginning of my collecting years, I was introduced by my friend Wei Ing Chong to the greatest artist of Indonesia ever, Pak Affandi. I have learned a lot of him, how to judge paintings because of his simple thinking. And we were still in the beginning and we were asking him how to judge an abstract painting. It is still difficult for us. His answer is so simple. If the colors are nice, you like it, it's nice, it's good. That encourages us to go further.
Affandi's advice helped refine Dr. Ooi's palette for art, making him more discerning. In fact, Dr. Ooi's first serious purchase of art bore Affandi's signature.
The first expensive painting I could buy were Affandi's paintings. Yeah, that was in the early 80s, I think more than 30 years ago. My wife wanted this, I want that. So finally we took 3, but we didn't have enough money also. But Affandi was so generous, he said, just take it, pay on installments. And so how long? As you want. Pernah sama orang lagi barat,
Affandi's largesse was the beginning of a long friendship between artist and art collector. And even after Affandi's passing in 1990, Dr. Ooi still keeps in touch with the family.
Dr. Wee with my father is very, very close. Especially the Dr. Wee is lucky for us because he lives not far away from us. It's about maybe 1 hour drive. And time to time, he always say hello, and then he used to call even Bapak, means father to my father, and then Ibu Mami is Mami to my mother. So it is very, very, very becoming very one of the like his own son.
Signature also is a part of the
A
composition.
part of the composition. Yeah.
Often you cannot find. You have to
No.
search where it is. Yeah.
Yeah.
Dr. Ooi learned much about art from Affandi. But what most moved him was the artist's unwillingness to reduce art to mere dollars and cents. He taught Dr. Ooi how to appreciate it on a much more sublime emotional level.
It's nothing to do with money, but you know, sometimes a painting has really no value. For instance, if he wished to give it to someone because he feel that he got something else which is impossible, then he would give it for free. You see, and of course, my father is not only painted something beautiful lady. No, he always how he feels about life, daily life.
That the mutual respect between artist and art collector went beyond professional was clear when Affandi asked Dr. Ooi to serve in his foundation.
My father, he said, Dr. Ooi, I would like you to become a member of the Affandi Foundation. And he is willing to help, of course. And he is younger than me, so he has plenty of time to help us. So it is not only because buying and selling, but this is also a family bond.
Dr. Ooi's relationships with artists aren't restricted to the more established old masters. He's always on the lookout for new talent to support. Installation artist Anki Porbandono is one such talent, and his medium, photography.
I'm jealous when someone do something with drawing because I cannot draw. I found a good media to fight with them. That's camera, that's photography. 10 years ago, photography is separate in the fine art in Indonesia. That's my spirit, my stimulant, my energy coming from that. To against in the positive way to put photography become part of the fine art. I want to talk about the fashion. I took a picture about the mental illness people on the street. It was my first time to have a digital camera.
What I learned from Anki, art photography has become more and more interesting. Which is before considered as non-art, is now definitely art, and it has become part of our life. Anki is the pioneer, very responsive artist towards his surrounding, and a great observer. Like with he just now experienced walking on the street, and then in the dark he found an object. Which is for the common people, doesn't have any meaning. Everybody will neglect it, but he has something interesting.
The exchange of ideas between young artist and older art collector is mutual. As a result of his relationship with Dr. Ooi, Anki has a new appreciation for that which he could not connect with before.
Saya mendapatkan banyak ilmu pengetahuan dari apa yang Roy punya. Seperti saya belajar seni rupa modern, itu awalnya saya sama sekali nggak tahu. Dari koleksi-koleksinya Dr. Roy, saya menjadi tahu. Setelah kenal Dr. Roy, bagus juga ya. Menurut saya mendapatkan satu pencerahan untuk melihat sebuah karya. Dan itu mempertajam ruang baca saya, ruang melihat saya, terus ruang berpikir saya dan bahasa saya juga. Yang aku perhatikan dalam sama frame-nya.
With Dr. Ooi's sterling reputation in the art world, not just in Indonesia, but abroad, up-and-coming talent get a career boost if he decides he likes what they're doing, as Anki Porbandono discovered.
When I was invited by Asian Art Archive to the presentation, and he asked me by which artist I would like to be accompanied, I recommended Anki. And when I was there, I was asked, why Anki? I said, I admire his inventiveness, his creativity, and his smart thinking very much.
Praise from art impresario Oei Hong Jien that a young Indonesian artist can take to the bank. For Dr. Oei Hong Jien, art isn't exclusively about history or the present. It is a continuum that stretches back into Indonesia's past and forward into the future. This is why he's as passionate about contemporary artists as he is the Affandis, Widayats, and other great Indonesian artists of the past. Pupuk Daru Purnomo is a fast-rising star of the Indonesian art world. He paints and also creates dolls and puppets, but Pupuk defies being pigeonholed as one type of artist or another.
Saya mendefinisikan diri saya itu seorang seniman yang mungkin konvensional ya Mas. Artinya saya tidak berpikir bahwa saya harus menjadi contemporary artist. Yang penting apa yang ada di dalam benak saya, apa yang dalam pemikiran saya, itu yang coba saya ungkapkan. Terserah orang mau mendefinisikan saya masuk ke seni rupa modern atau seni rupa kontemporer, itu silakan. Tapi yang jelas saya sendiri tidak punya upaya untuk apakah saya harus masuk ke ini atau ke itu. Jadi saya cuma merasa bahwa saya harus menuangkan beberapa ide yang benar-benar mengganggu pikiran saya. Itulah karya seni yang ingin saya ciptakan itu sebetulnya lahir dari sebuah kegelisahan yang panjang dari kehidupan saya untuk mencoba mengurangi beban itu. Jadi memang saya sengaja memang ada banyak kegelisahan yang saya temui dalam hidup ini dan itu coba saya lampiaskan dalam sebuah karya.
I knew Pupuk since very long time ago, more than 20 years ago when he was still student. He was one of my favorites and he was one of the two with Nasiron who I brought to the US and to Europe to visit museums at the time. When he visited the museum in Europe, his first words was, I feel nothing here. We have still to learn a lot. And that actually opened new perspectives for him. When he came back, he did an exhibition at the National Gallery. It was very successful. He was so good in his brushstroke, in his technique. But the works exhibited was just cityscape with some curators. I just think, this is not deep enough.
But Pupuk had more to share with the world. He had hidden away some of his earlier creations, even from Dr. Oei. When these were finally revealed to the public at a subsequent exhibition, his detractors were silenced.
People were totally flabbergasted seeing that exhibition. Many considered that as the best exhibition of this year on contemporary art. So I'm very happy for the progress he has done. Now I think he has established his reputation and will be remembered always in the Indonesian art history.
Ya, ini ada satu karya abstrak saya Bang Jin. Ini yang semua orang belum tahu ide di balik ini semua kan. Dan hubungan saya dengan Dr. Oei itu memang terjalin dari saya waktu masih mahasiswa Mas. Saya itu sudah selalu mengkonsultasikan karya saya ke Dr. Oei. Kita bisa berkonsultasi, bisa minta saran pun itu sudah sangat beruntung bagi saya. Akhirnya hubungan itu menjadi semakin intens, semakin baik. Semuanya menjadi oke, kalau memang karya kamu seperti ini, ya udah kita memang bisa memperkenalkan ke kolektor yang lain. Artinya dari situ kita mendapat sebuah jalan, Mas. memangku yang laki-laki.
This ability of Dr. Ui's to spot and help develop budding talent may turn out to be one of his greatest contributions to Indonesian art. The other is putting these local talents in the international spotlight.
I want that the Indonesian art be recognized not only by the Indonesian people, but also by the international public as equal with the art of the other countries. And if you don't do anything, if you stay at home, just enjoy the collection yourself, never show it to people, never promote, never talk, of course, this will not happen. There must be someone who will fight for this, that Indonesian art will be recognized also in the international art world.
It's a long way from the dusty streets of Papua in Indonesia to cities around the world. But that's a journey dancer Jeko Siompo has taken. He's collaborated with artists in Australia, Germany, Japan, Switzerland and Singapore. With his animal pop family, he's also worked with youth projects around the world.
Kalau saya sendiri sudah ikut Bang Jeko, udah sekitar 6 negara ya, jadi ada Jerman, ada Swiss, Jepang, terus pernah juga sering di Singapura, Australia. Jadi kayak di Jerman tuh mungkin sering diundang 7 kali. Kayak di Singapura, mungkin di sekitar Esplanade situ di bawah-bawahnya ada anak breakdance biasanya. Ya udah kita coba cyper. Nah, mereka juga akhirnya tahu, wah ini dari Indonesia. Memang pertamanya mungkin lucu atau apa, cuman kita bangga gitu membawa original dari Indonesia walaupun agak terlihat aneh ya.
Jeko Siompo doesn't just lead his animal pop family in dance, but shares the lessons he's learned the hard way coming to the big city all those years ago.
Kalau ikut Bang Jeko bukan hanya sekedar kita nari, cuman Bang Jeko juga memberikan motivasi bagaimana kita ya, hidup di kota besar berdasarkan pengalaman yang pernah Bang Jeko dapat.
Ya, betul.
Jadi dia bilang, contoh kita mau pergi ikut job-job, diajak nari sama orang lain di luar gitu, Bang Jeko cuma kasih ya jaga attitude apa. Tetapi dengan karakter yang kita punya, jangan malu, jangan takut dengan orang yang sudah duluan di sini. Tetap keluar, yang penting kita jujur, ikhlas, kerja dengan hati, itu pasti bisa lebih baik ke depannya.
Jeko and his dancers also reach out to kids of all ages, teaching them different dance styles, including their unique animal pop.
Kenapa animal pop? Mungkin satu animal itu kita berangkat dari tradisi Indonesia. Nah, tradisi itu juga tradisi Indonesia banyak yang lebih dari kayak binatang mungkin ya. Dari Sabang sampai Merauke itu semua ada tentang tradisinya, mungkin berangkatnya juga ada kayak binatang-binatangnya gitu. Nah, sedangkan pop di sini maksudnya lebih urban. Jadi benar-benar kita lebih pop. Jadi mungkin di-combine jadi animal pop. Nah, komunitas ini animal pop di sini tuh kayak kita kenapa bisa bilang kayak keluarga, karena memang dari basic dari anak-anak kecil sampai besar nanti memang semuanya kita ajarin kalau memang animal pop itu mengajarkan untuk mari kita mengangkat budaya Indonesia. Tapi tidak pure juga kita bakalan kayak mentah gitu tradisi. Cuman karena ini tetap dancing untuk anak muda ya kita mungkin ada popnya. Nah, ikut perkembangan.
Jeko's dance crew are like a family, a surrogate one for Jeko and many of the others in the group.
Bace, dari mana?
Dari rumah.
Rasanya tidak punya keluarga di Jakarta misalnya. Jadi ketika saya membuat satu tarian dan siapapun yang mau bergabung sama saya menganggap dia adalah keluarga saya. Ketika sekolah animal pop itu jadi siapapun yang datang latihan atau mendaftar dan bergabung di kelas kita, langsung saya anggap itu family gitu. Itu keluarga. Misalnya karena datang itu tidak hanya anaknya saya, tapi orang tuanya juga datang. Jadi orang tua juga bisa jadi keluarga kita. Jadi anak murid-murid dan keluarganya itu juga bisa jadi bagian dari animal pop family itu. Jadi mungkin habis latihan atau sebelum latihan biasanya orang tuanya kadang suka bawa makanan, kita makan rame-rame, begitu habis latihan kita makan rame-rame, atau kalau tidak ada hari latihan kita bisa berjalan bersama-sama orang tua mereka pergi ke suatu tempat yang kita bilang holiday lah ya. Nah situ kita selalu berkumpul. Jadi kenapa saya bilang animal pop itu style, tapi saya tambah family itu seperti, jadi buat saya itu lebih penting kita berangkat dari prinsip-prinsip berkeluarga.
Mencari cinta juga sering menyiksa, membuat hati ini sulit diterka. Maunya setia, awalnya saja, akhirnya mendua, itu mah payah. Yeah, biar begini, aku sayang kamu. Biar begini.
Saya mencoba menciptakan satu gaya baru. Saya berhayal ya, walaupun mungkin gaya itu belum bisa diterima atau belum bisa menjadi gaya tari yang baru yang bisa diterima seluruh dunia misalnya. Seperti hip hop kan orang tahu, ballet orang tahu gitu ya. Saya ingin bikin animal pop itu sebenarnya yaitu mungkin membuat satu gaya tari baru, tapi saya coba berawal dari anak-anak kecil gitu. Nah, jadi berapa kali saya mempelajari mereka apa yang mereka suka, ternyata mereka juga suka yang sifatnya kartun. Nah, kartun itu kan berhubungan seperti binatang-binatang. Jadi itu yang saya coba terus explore. Dan makanya saya coba ke anak-anak kecil, habis itu yang lebih tua dari mereka dikit lagi, itu sama yang lebih tua lagi. Jadi terus bereksplorasi dengan mereka sehingga kita bikin kelas untuk mereka ikut kelas ini gimana respon mereka dengan terhadap animal pop. Jadi ya sampai saat ini sih lumayan responnya baik, tapi kita tidak tahu ke depan. Tapi saya berharap tetap mungkin sebagai seorang seniman ya tidak pernah kata berhenti ya. Mungkin risiko, tapi buat saya animal pop akan terus saya kejar karena menurut saya sampai kapanpun saya tetap harus belajar. Saya terus belajar dan belajar.
Jeko Xiongpo and Dr. Wee Hongjian, the dancer and the art collector. Their paths may never cross, but they both share a mission to bring the art or art form they champion into as many lives as possible, today and into the future.